The University of KwaZulu-Natal's College of Agriculture, Engineering and Science is committed to making a difference in our world, from the classroom and laboratory to the field. It provides one of the finest study and research environments on the African continent and is recognized internationally as a center of excellence. Agriculture, Engineering and Science is one of 4 colleges that make up the University of KwaZulu-Natal and is home to over 8,700 students and approximately 700 staff. 3 of the university's 5 campuses form the core of agriculture, engineering and science activities in the region. The college comprises 5 schools: agricultural, earth and environmental sciences, engineering, chemistry and physics, life sciences and mathematics, statistics and computer science. Engineering is offered on the Howard College campus, agriculture on the Pietermaritzburg, and all the other sciences on both the Pietermaritzburg and Westville campuses. Exceptions are agricultural engineering, which is offered in Pietermaritzburg, and geology, which is offered at Westville only. To compete with the best and to meet the challenges of the 21st century, South Africa needs highly skilled professionals in the areas of agriculture, engineering and science. We offer a wide array of interesting and innovative degree programs that open doors to a variety of different careers. Some degrees are unique to UKZN and are not offered at other tertiary institutions. For example, we are the only university in South Africa to offer a fully accredited agricultural engineering degree and one of only 2 universities in the country to offer a BSc in land surveying. Our postgraduate food security training program is the only one in the world, and we have the widest range of agricultural disciplines at any single South African or African campus. The choices of degree and the options on offer may seem confusing at first. Engineering degrees are more specific, and the options are usually career-focused. Emphasis is placed on training in the specific principles which engineers deal with in their professions. Engineering offers 7 different professional specializations. There are also degrees in land surveying or geomatics and property development. In science, there are structured or career-focused degrees. These include fields as varied as chemical technology, marine biology, industrial and applied biotechnology, and computer science and information technology, to mention a few. There are also more general degrees with a lot of flexibility. In this case, students have the choice of studying a BSc M stream in maths, physics, computer science, and statistics. All of these have a strong mathematical component. The other option is a BSc LES stream with a focus on the life and environmental sciences with subjects such as geography, genetics, botany, hydrology, zoology, ecology, and microbiology. In agriculture, there are various different options that involve practical and scientific applications. Students can combine science subjects with specific agricultural disciplines for a 4-year Bachelor of Science in Agriculture degree. These are more career-orientated. Agriculture and agricultural management are 3-year degrees with a higher practical component. Dietetics is a professional qualification that deals with the role nutrition plays in the promotion of health and the treatment of disease. Most degree programs across the college have field trips and projects that contribute significantly to the curriculum. This ensures that students learn in real-life situations under full field conditions. Many of our lecturers have received Excellence in Teaching awards, are recognized internationally, and are rich in practical experience. Students have access to excellent facilities that rank amongst the best in the world. 300 million rands has recently been invested in new teaching and research facilities, state-of-the-art laboratories, and improved equipment. The 30 million rands new School of Engineering building is the envy of engineering campuses across the country. Agricultural students have access to a 356-hectare research and training farm situated near the Pietermaritzburg campus. This facility provides students with hands-on training and is used extensively as an outdoor laboratory for teaching and research in areas such as animal and poultry science, horticultural science, and agricultural engineering. Adjoining Ukulinga is the Bisley Valley Nature Reserve, which supports a diversity of plant and bird species, as well as some large mammals. It provides a rich learning and research environment for staff and students. Based on the Westville campus, the college possesses unique facilities for research into higher voltage power transmission. These facilities are available in only 3 other places in the world and form part of the ESCOM-sponsored Science and Technology Innovation Park. The Science and Technology Education Center showcases the college's scientific achievements and promotes the public understanding of science, engineering and technology within the region. The college houses a wide range of sophisticated equipment in its microscopy and microanalysis units, staffed by highly qualified and skilled technical specialists. The College of Agriculture, Engineering and Science prides itself on its graduates who are highly sought after. In a market characterized by a shortage of qualified professionals in science and technology, our graduates are readily employed around the world in the fields of agriculture, science, commerce, industry, engineering and research, to name just a few. Research plays a major role within the college and operates at the cutting edge of technology. The college has the highest research output in the university and produces the most research publications. There are over 60 well-established research groups and centers within the college. The African Center for Crop Improvement caters for students from all over Africa. It is one of only 2 African plant breeding programs on the continent. Based in the School of Agricultural, Earth and Environmental Sciences, the African Center for Food Security focuses on alleviating hunger in Africa. It offers food security training programs, undertakes academic and applied research, and provides policy and program support. Promoting sustainable engineering practice is the Center for Research in Environmental, Coastal and Hydrological Engineering, or CRESH. It deals with the interaction between engineering and the natural environment. The Mechatronics and Robotics Research Group in the School of Engineering provides an excellent research and education environment for its senior undergraduate and postgraduate students. Judged one of the best research centers at the university, the Center for Plant Growth and Development focuses on high-quality research in the plant-based disciplines of plant physiology, plant molecular biology, and ethnobotany. The Center for Quantum Technology deals with physical phenomena at the microscopic level. Quantum physics led to the development of the transistor and the laser, and is currently being used to develop quantum computers and quantum cryptography. The college is committed to access and readdressing the disadvantages and inequities of the past. The highly successful Unite Engineering program and the Science Access Foundation and augmented programs offer alternative access to university, equipping students from disadvantaged backgrounds with the skills and knowledge to pursue their degrees of choice. Both these programs contribute significantly to advancing Black African scientists and engineers in South Africa. Staff and students contribute to a number of outreach and community initiatives that focus on social responsibility, sustainable development and upliftment of the wider community. The college also engages in activities involving the pursuit and understanding of science, engineering and technology through exhibitions, festivals and roadshows that target high school learners and the general public. The college has minimum entry requirements for its programs. These differ from degree to degree, but all require a national senior certificate and minimum performance levels in mathematics and either physical or life or agricultural sciences. For those who do not meet the minimum requirements, access programs are available. Additional information and brochures can be obtained from the contact information accompanying this video. The College of Agriculture, Engineering and Science is proud of its contribution to the university, the region and the country.
UKZN is one of the best. I definitely understand it's one of the best in South Africa. So for me, there was no other institute that I would have preferred other than UKZN.
We have the best facilities here in terms of laboratories, in terms of equipment, in terms of human resources, in terms of literature.
UKZN is one of the best universities in the country that teach agriculture or natural sciences.
What I think is good about this college is the level of international collaboration that we have. We have friendships with universities all over the world, which means that we're keeping up to a great international standard.
UKZN has got much more facilities and it's recommended worldwide to do your science studies here. Life begins here. Yes.
We continually strive to be academically excellent, innovative in research, and critically engaged with society. We invite you to join us or work with us to be part of this exciting team.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jerusha, and I will be conducting the session this evening. Thank you for joining. I hope you all have some material to look at, such as a study guide, or you can have some writing material to jot down what we're going to be going through today. We're going to be looking at some past year questions. Let me just start sharing my screen, and hopefully we get some more students joining us. We'll just give them a minute or two to join. Okay, can everybody see my screen? You can just give me a thumbs up, or you can just shout out.
It's visible on my end, Jerusha.
Thank you. I'd also like to introduce my co-host, Dr. Nimisha Singh. She will be assisting you on the chat line. If you have any questions, if you're feeling too shy to ask me, you can always type it out on our chat group and she will assist you there. Okay, if I may ask, do we have any grade 11 students joining us this evening? You can just put it in the chat. Any of your questions that you have along the way as I go through these PowerPoints, or if you just want to raise your hand and ask a question, you may do so as well. But the chat is available for you to type a question where Dr. Singh will assist you as well. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to get started so we maximize the time for this evening. Okay, so this is our first session of 4. And can I quickly verify what some of you students are doing in school? There's been a few changes from the Department of Basic Education in terms of your timetable. So can I just ask some participants to confirm whether you're writing 1 paper or still 2? Some schools, I don't know if they're doing different things, or you've all received the updated timetable, which states you're only writing 1 life sciences paper on the 6th of June. Can I have a confirmation of that from any student, please?
The students are saying in the chat box that there is 1 paper.
Okay, fantastic. So we're all on the same page. Okay, so we prepared accordingly, and you're writing on the 6th of June. So you've got a few days, and I'm glad you're starting to prepare early. I can tell that because you've joined this Zoom session. Okay, so we're getting a good start, and you are going to get some practice now using past year Matric June exam papers from as far back as 2016. Okay, so today we're just going to cover a few topics, not everything in one session. Okay, so as I said, we've split this up into 4 sessions. We've got another session on Thursday evening and 2 sessions on Saturday. Okay, so today we're just going to be doing reproductive strategies and human reproduction. This is a breakdown of your paper. Okay, so if anybody doesn't have that, you can just take this down quickly, okay, or screenshot or something so that you're aware of the mark breakdown and the actual weight of each of these topics in your paper. Okay, so we're going to be doing reproductive strategies today and human reproduction. Okay, so that equals a total of 33 marks. On Thursday, we're going to be doing human responses to the environment and endocrine system and homeostasis. Okay, and then on Saturday, we're doing DNA and meiosis in 1 session, and then genetics in our last session. Okay, so we're going to be covering every topic that's going to be included in your paper so that you're well prepared and you're well practiced, because that is key. You may learn all your work, but you need to practice attempting questions in order to actually see the results of your studying. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, I just see on the chat quickly that students have asked for notes. We don't have notes to give you, but the recording of this session will be made available to you, yes. Okay, and can everybody just keep an eye on the chat as well, because Dr. Singh will be posting a survey for you to do so that we can register all of you so that you get further correspondence from us. And yeah, so you'll get a survey to do as well as some other information that Dr. Singh will put on this chat. Okay. She's just uploaded the link for you to access the recordings of these sessions. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. Hope everybody is comfortable and relaxed, and please feel free to ask me questions. This session is for you guys, so make the most of it. If you don't understand something or don't understand how we got to a certain answer, please feel absolutely free to jump in, put your hand up, ask me, and I'll assist you. Okay, and I'll go back and go over what needs to be re-explained and everything. Okay, so just relax, don't feel too shy. We are having an interactive session today. Okay, so the things you need to know for particularly reproduction in vertebra and reproduction in humans, or reproductive strategies, okay, that would be the reproduction in vertebra. Okay, so you need to know you might get a diagram at some point for this section. Okay, generally the short answer questions for this section, which we will be going through today, but also sometimes it comes up in the MCQs and also in the give the biological term, which we're going to practice now as well. Okay, so what some of the topics are that you need to know in each of these two major topics would be the amniotic egg. So you need to know the diagrams and labels for that, okay? Because I've seen that in a past paper as well. Okay, you need to be able to say the types of embryonic development, okay? And the developmental strategies that some vertebrates employ, okay? Then in your reproduction in humans, you need to obviously know your male and female reproductive organs, and very importantly, the role of the following hormones: testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. Okay, so those are important hormones that you must be able to know the functions of and what they stimulate and where they are produced, and obviously what they are acting on. Okay, because a hormone is a molecule that's produced in a certain location but has an effect in a different location. Okay, so you need to be able to know that about these hormones. Okay, then you need to know the ovarian and menstrual cycles. Okay, you need to be able to say what happens when in each of these cycles. And then obviously the process of fertilization, okay, and how fertilization now affects these two cycles. Okay, because that has also come up in a question. It's something that's definitely going to be asked. Okay. Okay, so let's start straight off the bat with biological terms, because that's the first part of your paper. First, you have your MCQs, okay, and then you're going to have give the biological term usually. Okay, that's been the general trend since 2016. There's always some definitions that are required. Okay, so I'm gonna ask them and you're gonna answer me, okay? Because I already know these answers. This is for you to tell me, so you can test your knowledge, okay? And if you should have already started studying. So this is a good way to test whether you've retained any of that information or not. Okay, so I'm going to read it out, and anybody is welcome to just jump in and shout out the answer. Okay, or you can put it in the chat if you want. Okay. Okay, so what is the term for fertilization that occurs outside the body, usually in water? Anybody? Dawn, thank you for your answer. External fertilization is correct. Okay, the type of chick development of birds that nest on the ground. You're welcome to just shout it out, guys. It goes quicker like that. Anybody? Oh, I have to start calling names now.
Everyone's shy.
Chantal. Oh, who's that? Chamber. No.
Mano said embryo.
the type of chick development of birds that nest on the ground. No, that is not the correct answer.
Is it precocial development?
Yes, we're looking for that type. We're looking for a strategy. Okay, so that is correct. Yeah, so we're looking for a strategy. So the key words when you're looking at your precocial and your atrichial development is that it's referring to birds, and one will be nesting on the ground, and the other one is building a nest high up. So it's very obvious. Okay, so this definition was obvious in that it said birds that nest on the ground. So immediately you have to go developmental strategy. Okay, and there's only two. There's precocial and atrichial. Okay, so it's precocial development. Okay, structure that secretes amniotic fluid. This you'll find in the amniotic egg. Neha, that is correct, the amnion. Okay, that secretes your amniotic fluid. Okay, so what is the development of a fertilized egg that has been laid called? Mano?
It's the embryo.
No, it's still not the embryo. Try again.
So Santuri said ovipary.
No, that's incorrect. Nope, not atrichial either. Keep going.
Isn't it the chick?
No, not really.
Any clue, ma'am?
Clue.
Yes.
Is it a frog?
No.
Frog.
Okay, we'll come back to that one. I'll give you some time to think. It's so easy. Okay, let's move on. Okay, I'm gonna give you time. You gotta know these definitions. Embryos of vertebrates that develop inside a fluid-filled sac, which is surrounded by a shell.
Ovipary.
No, this is now the
from Chantal.
No, this is the embryo of a vertebrate that develops inside a fluid-filled sac, which is surrounded by a shell. Think about that. What is that looking like? You need to have a mental picture. Okay, anybody want to try? Can you still see my screen?
Yes. Yes, your screen is still on.
Right.
Okay.
Someone whispered something. I did not hear. Let me check the chat. So Nick says amniotic egg.
Very good. Okay, that is correct. Yes. That is the correct answer. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Okay. Let me just get you the answer that you're looking for the fourth question. Oh, got it here. Okay, is my screen still visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Oh, somebody did get it correct. Who was this person? I will find you. Somebody said Santuri. Santuri said development of a fertilized egg that has been laid was ovipary, and that is correct. Sorry,
Yes,
I thought you
that was it.
wrote ovipary. Okay, so Santuri, you were correct. Okay, so development of a fertilized egg that has been laid is called ovipary. Okay, let's do the next one. Sorry. Okay, now this is a bag-like structure that contains the testes. Easy one.
Scrotum.
Correct. The hormone that encourages sperm maturation. It's one of, here's a clue. It's one of the three that I told you you need to know.
Testosterone.
Correct. Okay, the hormone released by the ovary, which starts preparation of the uterus lining for the attachment of the fertilized ovum. What hormone starts preparing the uterus lining for the ovum to be attached?
So
Estrogen.
Dawn said follicle stimulating hormone.
It's actually estrogen. Sid, you are correct. Okay. A mature follicle in the ovary, what is that called?
Graphian follicle.
Very good. Okay, and what is the inner lining of the uterus called?
Endometrium.
Yes, that is correct. Okay, so you guys are doing well. You would have gotten 10 out of 10 because you've gotten all your definitions correct. Okay, so those, it's an example of something you don't need to lose marks in. It's just basic definitions that you've learned of. Okay. Okay, so now let's attempt some actual short answer questions. Okay, we're starting off easy. Okay. Oh no. I'm going to do it this way. Can you see that? Can you see my PowerPoint still?
Yes.
You can see a sperm cell.
Yes, clearly.
Okay.
With the labels,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, all right. And it's taking up your whole screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, I put it on slideshow so that I can put some answers. Okay, so identify part B.
Nucleus.
Very good. Okay, and what is D?
Tail by Dawn.
Yes, that is the tail. Okay, so just quickly tell me the function of B and D. What's the function of the nucleus?
The nucleus provides energy for the sperm.
Santuri says it has DNA from the father or the male.
Okay, correct. Okay, so who
Nick
said
says,
provides energy?
Ma'am?
That's incorrect. The nucleus does not provide energy. The nucleus contains genetic information. Yes.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that it provides hereditary information.
Yes. So it's only going to be containing your DNA. It's not going to be generating any energy. But can you tell me a part of this diagram where there are organelles that do provide energy? Give me a label.
It's B.
No, not B. B is the nucleus, which we just said does not give energy. It only contains DNA.
It's C, the one that the one that has mitochondria.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Correct.
that region of C contains mitochondria,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that is, what's that region called? It's just called the middle piece. Okay, and that is just going to contain all your mitochondria for energy. Why does it need energy? What are you learning?
It needs energy for locomotion.
Okay, and what's going to be providing it with locomotion? Which label?
So everyone in the chat said it was D, the tail, for swimming and movement.
Yes, that is correct. Okay, so your sperm cell needs energy to be able to swim because it's got a very long way to go to reach the egg. Okay,
So someone had a question.
Yes.
I heard a ma'am, but they didn't raise their hand, so I'm not sure which participant it was.
Anybody got a question? Okay, so now explain one way in which the sperm cell is adapted to ensure effective movement towards the fallopian tubes. And we've just sort of discussed this. Explain one way in which the sperm is adapted to ensure effective movement towards the fallopian tube. How is it well adapted?
Jen says it has a streamlined body.
Torpedo shaped, correct. Emily, yes, the nucleus does contain 23 chromosomes if it's a human sperm cell.
So Don says it has a tail, and Nick says it has contractile fibers.
Okay, you must say it has contractile fibers in the tail. Okay. Yeah, those are correct. We also can say what we've just mentioned, that there's the presence of mitochondria to provide energy for the sperm cell to swim. Okay, so to ensure effective movement. Okay. Okay, so then explain the consequences for reproduction if a sperm cell did not have part A. Okay, so what is part A?
Part A is the acrosome.
Correct. Now my okay, 1 second. I'm just trying to get my things to work here. There's it. Okay. Acrosome, and the acrosome produces enzymes that dissolve the surface of the egg so that the sperm can penetrate the egg and obviously release the DNA into the egg. Okay. Everybody with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so next question. Research shows that the average age of first menstruation is influenced by socioeconomic status as well as race. Scientists carried out an investigation to determine the average age of the first menstruation of the girls in a community. The hypothesis was the average age of first menstruation has decreased over time. For this investigation, state the independent variable. Okay,
Nick says
anybody?
age of girls.
Independent variable. No.
Ma'am, before we move on, like,
sure.
I don't understand this thing for the independent variable. Like, please, can you clarify for me, like, what do you really mean about
the independent and dependent variable? Yes,
ma'am.
Okay, so the independent variable is the one that you are manipulating. It can be the treatments, it can be the thing that you are changing in the experiment. Okay, like let's say you're using treatment 1, treatment 2, treatment 3. Okay, those are your independent variables. Then your dependent variable is what changes based on those treatments. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am, I'm with
So the dependent variable is dependent on your independent variables.
Okay.
Did you catch that?
Yes.
Or in other words, you can say that the dependent variable is affected by your independent variable.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's just a vice.
Okay, so now that you know that, what is the independent variable, the thing that you are controlling?
So Chantal said time.
That is correct. Okay, and now what is dependent on time? Anybody?
No one in the chat box.
Okay, so there's your hypothesis there. Let's look at your hypothesis. The average age of first menstruation has decreased over time.
So Don said the average age of first menstruation.
Yes, this is correct, because the average age of first menstruation is what is changing over time, based on time. Okay, is everybody with me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, name 3 planning steps that had to be considered before carrying out this investigation.
They need to repeat it again.
Okay, we're talking about planning steps. So, in the design of the experiment. Yes, so you can phrase it in that way. Okay, I've just put it here for you. Okay, you can, the number of times you repeat the experiment, yes. Okay, so that's the method. So planning steps means before you've done the experiment. Okay, so you need to obviously decide on a sample size, decide on the proportion from racial groups. Okay, because remember it said that socio-economic status as well as race affected or was a contributing factor towards the average age of first menstruation. Okay, so that means it is going to have an influence on the average age of first menstruation. So you have to control the proportion of girls from different racial groups. Okay, you decide on the age range of participants. You can also decide on proportions from socioeconomic status. Okay, and you need to decide on the recording tool or instrument or method used to actually find out this information. And obviously you must ask participants for their permission because you're using human subjects. Okay, is that fine for everybody? You just need to name 3. Sometimes, you know, you need to always bear in mind that sometimes the markers are going to choose, or they are going to mark the first 3 things that you write. Okay, so this question is asking for 3 planning steps. They may mark the first 3, but sometimes in some questions they may mark any 3. But always always put your your most confident answer first. Okay, don't make the marker have to look through your answer and try and find what you're trying to say. Okay, you must state it very clearly, because they will mark they won't even, if you've written 6 things and they only want 3, they will only look at your first 3 things. They won't care about the other 3 items you've listed. Okay, so always take it, when you're doing an answer, always take it as the first, if they ask you for 3, for example, the first 3 things that you write will be marked. The rest, they won't mark. Okay, so even if it's they are not going to find three correct answers. They will mark the first 3. So if only 2 are correct, it means you will only get 2 marks. Even if there's a correct answer at number 5, they would not even get there. Do you understand? Students? Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so always put your most correct answers, the most confident answers that you have, put them first, because that is what's going to be marked. Okay, please remember that, because you can write an answer, you can have the correct answer in your explanation there, but if it's not put first, the markers are not going to even get to it. Okay, they will mark the first thing that they see. Okay, that's very important to prevent you from losing marks unnecessarily. Okay, if the results show that the average age of first menstruation has remained at 9 years of age for the last 25 years, explain the implications for the hypothesis stated by the scientists. It's probably supposed to be 12 to 9 or 9 to 12 years of age for the last 25 years. Explain the implications for the hypothesis. So what does that mean for the hypothesis? Why did scientists give that hypothesis? Students, take a wild guess. Okay, so here's your results. The average age of menstruation is between 9 and 12 years of age for the last 25 years. Explain the implications of the hypothesis. Sorry, I don't know why my answers are not coming up as quickly as I click them, but just bear with me. Okay, the hypothesis will be rejected or not accepted, and therefore needs to be reformulated. Okay. Name 2 physical characteristics in girls which would indicate the start of puberty. So what are 2 physical characteristics that show a girl is in puberty?
Menstruation.
Yes. Next.
They'll start developing.
Yeah.
This Mfanelo says development of breasts. Asanda said wider hips. Chantal says pimples or acne.
Correct. Okay, yeah, so you just needed to write 2. And here's another example. So if you wrote 5 answers for this, they're only going to mark the first 2. They're not going to care about the other 3 that you wrote. Okay. So make sure the first 2 are your most confident answers. Okay, one contraceptive method for females is to take a daily oral pill that contains progesterone. Explain how this pill functions to prevent pregnancy for 4 marks. Okay. Take a try at this. It's got to be for 4 marks, so it's some explanation. Anything on the chat there?
No answers as yet.
Okay.
They're thinking.
Yeah. Okay, think quickly. Okay, so what does progesterone do? Okay, so the pill contains progesterone. How does progesterone prevent pregnancy? Anybody take a try, just even if you give me half of the answer.
Emily says the mini pill has no retindrome. And Don says stop secretion of FSH.
Correct. Okay, Don, you are correct. Okay, so the tab A7 light, you are also correct. Okay, so we're going to inhibit the production of follicle stimulating hormone. So if you don't have follicle stimulating hormone, what does that mean now? Yes, Don, the follicle can't be developed. Okay, you're not going to get a follicle being produced. So there's not going to be anything, there's not going to be any ovulation. Okay, and therefore there will be nothing for the sperm to fertilize. Okay, so therefore pregnancy cannot occur. Okay, let's just see if my answer comes up here. Gosh, there's it. Okay, so high levels of progesterone inhibit secretion of FSH, so there's no development of a follicle and obviously no ovulation that will occur, and thus there'll be no fertilization. Okay, so that's giving you your 4 marks. Okay, so that's how you need to answer it in full. Okay. Okay. My screen is being blocked by this Zoom thing there. Namisha, can you read this out, please? I just can't see the top of my screen.
Okay, it says, study the diagram below of the sequence of events that takes place from the fertilization of the ovum to the development of the embryo in a part of the human female reproductive system. The arrows indicate the direction of development of one ovum after fertilization. So question 1.5.1 is to identify the stage of embryo development at E.
Sorry, is A being blocked or is it just not there?
A is not there.
Oh, okay, sorry. And there's a random green line. Okay.
So,
technical
someone
glitch.
must have wrote.
Oh, okay. The stage of embryo development at E. Okay, what does that look like? Anybody want to answer what stage of development that is?
Emily says blastocyst.
I think it's morula.
Mano also says the same.
Okay, it actually is the it is a blastocyst. Okay, it's just
says blastulation. Blastulation.
Oh no, you need to name the stage of the embryo, not the process. Okay, so that is a blastocyst. It's just probably about 6 to 7 days old. Okay, so it's got quite a few cells in it already. Okay, and when that blastocyst is mature, then it looks like G, and it's implants. Okay. Okay, so that was B was blastocyst. Okay, name the process that takes place at G.
Implantation.
Out.
Sorry?
Implantation.
Vanello says implantation as well.
Correct. Yes, that is correct. Okay, and then give the chromosome number. Oh, what's going on with my slide? I'm just going to exit this so that I can see. Oh, it just cut it off. Okay, sorry. Here's it. Can everybody see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
You're still seeing a PowerPoint slide, or you're seeing a whole screen?
We're seeing the whole screen.
PowerPoints. Your actual PowerPoint screen we're seeing.
Okay. Okay, so here's A. It was there. I don't know why I just cut it off. Okay, so identify structure C. Here's structure C, and that is your zygote. Okay, the stage of embryo development at E. Okay, this answer, according to the model answer, it's the morula, but to me that looked a bit more like the blastocyst. Okay, but the answer is morula. Okay, the structure that develops from a combination of parts F and H. Okay, and that is your placenta. Name the process that takes place at B. Now, I don't want you to see everything in red, but I don't know why it's showing up. Can you see everything in red? Yes. Oh, okay, it's not working today. Okay, so at B, the process that takes place is fertilization. Okay, you can see little sperm there joining to fusing with your egg. Okay. Now, I don't know why it just goes very big here for some reason. And you can't see anything. Okay. Still doing it. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so when G attaches to F, G attaches to F, that is called implantation, which was correct. Somebody said that. And give the chromosome number of the cells at D. Okay, so cells at D. Okay, what do we know about the cell at D? It is fertilized, which means it has the full complement of DNA. Okay, that would be 46 chromosomes. However, the cell at A, which is only the egg, it has not been fertilized as yet. That now only has 23 chromosomes. Everybody with me? They understand that? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we do understand.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, let's try now. Okay, here's a diagram for you. You can see a hatchling, two of them. One looks better than the other. Okay, B looks better than A. Agree?
Yes.
Okay, so state two visible features in hatchling A, which indicate a tracheal development.
Emily says the eggshell.
The chicken is born without feathers and it can't see.
Very good. Yes, it cannot see and has no feathers.
Mshlongo says the eyes are closed.
Therefore, it can't walk by itself.
Yes, correct. What else?
It feeds
Emily
from
says it has no energy.
Yes, well, it looks quite helpless there. So in that state, do you think it's going to be able to find its own food?
No, mother needs to provide foods for it.
Correct. Okay, so because it is helpless, it's totally dependent on the parent for food and protection. Its eyes are closed as well. So it is dependent on the parent. Okay, so state two visible features. Okay, so that was correct. The eyes, the feathers, the fact that it looks helpless. Okay. Okay. 2.1.2, the diagram represents ovipary. Explain one possible advantage of vivipary when compared to ovipary. So what would be an advantage of vivipary?
Mfanelo says fertilization is internal and that increases the chances of offsprings that will be produced.
Okay. What else? Think about the embryo.
Mfanelo says there's less danger of predation for the eggs. The embryo,
that's
according to Asanda, is safe in the mother's womb, but in ovipary, the eggs may be preyed upon predators. So therefore, more protection, stated by Don. Emily says nutrients and oxygen are obtained from the mother's blood via placenta.
Yes, that is also correct. Okay, so how does that compare to vivipary? Where's the nutrients? Sorry, to ovipary, where's the nutrients there? It's a limited amount of nutrients contained in the what part of the egg?
Don says amniotic sac.
No. The nutrients is contained in the yolk. Okay, that is what the developing chick will use to actually develop. Okay, so that the yolk is limited now in the amount it can actually give the developing chick. Okay, that is a clue to your next question, which says explain why you would expect that the yolk content of the egg of a hatchling B was more than that of hatchling A. Okay, explain why you'd expect that the yolk content of hatchling B was more than hatchling A. How does hatchling B look compared to A?
Sanders says hatchling B is more developed.
Yes. So that means it had more nutrients to use to develop.
Yes.
That is correct. Okay, more yolk allows for greater development of the chick so that it can be more independent after hatching. Okay. Everybody with me? Okay. Sorry, my screen is blocked again. Minisha, can you please tell me what's on top of the screen?
Okay, so on the top you have 3.2.1. Identify A, hormone A, and then B, hormone B.
Okay, so have a look at this graph. It's showing you levels of two ovarian hormones released during the menstrual cycle, and it shows you ovulation on the graph at day 14. You can see these two hormones are increasing and decreasing at certain days. Okay, so what are those two hormones?
Emily says, how does this menstrual cycle work? It's a question.
Oh, okay, let's answer what is hormone A and B, and then I'll go through the menstrual cycle with you.
So Mfanelo says LH, while Huawei Nova 8i says hormone A is estrogen. Then
okay.
Mfanelo, yeah. Also, and B is progesterone, according to Huawei.
Okay, so A is estrogen and B is progesterone. Okay, those are the two hormones that are involved in your menstrual cycle. Okay, you do have luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone also playing a role, but this is more clearly estrogen and progesterone, because on day 14 you can clearly see there's a big spike, and that is your ovulation. Okay, so what happens at day 14? You've got an ovum being released from your Graafian follicle, so that is the process of ovulation, and that is when estrogen levels peak and then drastically decrease after ovulation. Okay, and now once that ovum has been released and ovulation has occurred, the Graafian follicle then develops into the corpus luteum. Now the corpus luteum secretes the hormone progesterone, so we get a spike in progesterone levels. Okay, that is at around day 18. You can see there's quite a spike there in progesterone levels. Okay, because the corpus luteum secretes that. Okay, and then we can see estrogen picks up again. Okay, because the ovary will secrete that, okay, to prepare the endometrium for implantation, just in case there's implantation.
Whoever's writing with the whiteboard, please clear.
Okay, so the endometrium is getting prepared around day 23 or so, getting prepared for an egg to be implanted. Sorry, a blastocyst to be implanted. Okay, but there is also a decrease in both hormones after day 23, which tells us something. Okay, that's one of the questions. Okay, so hormone A is estrogen, hormone B is progesterone. Okay, what effect does an increase in hormone A have on the endometrium? So an increase in estrogen, what does it do to the endometrium? It thickens the endometrium. It actually causes the endometrium.
Emily, please clear your drawings on the screen. Jerusha, I think you're breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying that the hormone A, which is your estrogen, that actually, the question is, what effect does estrogen have on the endometrium? It actually thickens the endometrium. It prepares the endometrium for implantation of the egg. Okay, Fanelo, you've got a question?
The hand disappeared so quickly.
Oh, okay. Okay, then next question is, ovulation is indicated on the graph. Define ovulation. Let me see if I've got some answers for you. What's the definition of ovulation? That is when the Graafian follicle swells and bursts to release the ovum into the fallopian tube. Okay. Okay. On which day did ovulation take place in this graph? Very easy, Mark.
On the 14th.
Day 14. Okay, not on the 14th, on day 14. Okay, because remember this can happen at any time of the month, so it won't necessarily be the 14th of that month, but it will be on day 14 of the cycle. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Fanelo has a question.
Yes.
So Fanelo is asking, what is the relationship between progesterone and follicle stimulating hormone?
Progesterone and follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so when the pituitary gland secretes, sorry, you said progesterone.
Yes.
Okay, so progesterone is going to inhibit follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so if we look at our ovulation, our ovarian cycle, your corpus luteum secretes the hormone progesterone, okay, and that progesterone maintains pregnancy, okay. So you've got now an egg being released, okay, that ovum has been released, okay, and it's going into the menstrual cycle, okay, and it's waiting for a sperm to come fertilize it, okay. Now that progesterone that has been secreted or been stimulated to be secreted from the corpus luteum, the progesterone is going to inhibit follicle stimulating hormone, because your body cannot make another egg when there's already an egg in the system. Are you with me? There's the corpus luteum only comes after that ovum has been released. Okay, so your ovum has been released, that Graafian follicle develops into a corpus luteum, which secretes progesterone, and progesterone maintains pregnancy. If a pregnancy is being maintained, you can't have follicle stimulating hormone making more follicles, making more eggs, because you can't have multiple pregnancies at the same time. Are you with me? Okay, so progesterone inhibits follicle stimulating hormone. Do you understand? Panelo?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, so on which day did ovulation take place? Day 14. Which hormone secreted by the pituitary gland stimulates ovulation? That answer is there for you. It is luteinizing hormone. Okay, so luteinizing hormone stimulates ovulation. Okay, so it causes the Graafian follicle to swell and then burst and release the ovum. Okay, explain why high levels of hormone B prevent the development of new follicles. Okay, so that is what I just explained to you now. Progesterone, which is hormone B, prevents the development of new follicles by inhibiting follicle stimulating hormone, because we don't want more follicles while we are trying to maintain a pregnancy. Let's say if that ovum has been fertilized. But once there is an egg in the system, that once ovulation has taken place, that means there is now a viable egg that can be fertilized and can produce an embryo. We don't want another egg to be released by the ovaries for that same thing to happen, okay? Because there can't be two. You with me? Because the pregnancy needs to be maintained. The first one. Okay. Okay, explain evidence in the graph that indicates that no fertilization took place during the menstrual cycle shown above. Okay, so what can you see from day 23? You can see, or let's actually say day 21. You can see that both estrogen and progesterone decreased. Okay, so if progesterone is decreasing, it means that there has been no pregnancy. Okay, because if there was a pregnancy, progesterone levels will be high because you want to maintain that pregnancy. Remember, the role of progesterone is to maintain the pregnancy, maintain the thickness of the endometrium, which is the estrogen. Okay, so estrogen decreases, which means that your lining of the endometrium does not need to thicken any further, and it will now decrease. Okay, so progesterone levels decrease because the corpus luteum degenerated. Okay, that's just looking at hormone B. But hormone A, it also decreased, which means it is now going not going to thicken the endometrium any further. Okay. Okay. Nimisha, I can't see the top of the screen.
Okay, so for this question, the graph below shows the concentration of progesterone in a woman's blood during the early stages of pregnancy. So on the graph, it states progesterone levels in a woman's blood during early stages of pregnancy at the top, and at the bottom, it's gestation period in weeks, and on the left is our dependent variable.
Okay, so that
And
is
the first
progesterone.
question I see is 2.1.3. Is that what you can see?
Yes, but that's incorrect. There's 2.1.1.
Two more. Okay.
Yes, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so name two structures responsible for producing progesterone during pregnancy. Okay, that is the corpus luteum and the placenta. Okay, describe the general trend in the change in progesterone levels in the woman's blood during the early stages of pregnancy. So we can see from this graph that the general trend is that progesterone is increasing as she goes along in weeks. Okay. Describe the negative feedback mechanism that occurs between progesterone and FSH during pregnancy. Okay, so we just did describe that. Okay. And what can anybody repeat it in their own words? What is the relationship between progesterone and follicle stimulating hormone during pregnancy? If a person is pregnant, is what's going to happen with follicle stimulating hormone? Anybody?
So Don says high level of progesterone and low secretion of follicle stimulating hormone.
Yes, so progesterone is going to inhibit the production of follicle stimulating hormone during pregnancy, because during pregnancy we don't want more follicles or more eggs to be produced. Okay, because we've already got a fertilized egg, we've already got a zygote, and we've already got an embryo. The person is already pregnant. Okay. Oh, now it pops up. Okay. Just state the importance of the negative feedback system described in 2.1.3. We want to prevent follicle stimulating hormone from being secreted so that we don't have ovulation during pregnancy. Okay. Calculate the percentage increase in progesterone levels between week 4 and 14. Show all calculations. So week 14, you can't really see it, but it's 39.5, I think it is. Okay, so calculate the percentage increase from week 4. So it's increasing from 21.6 to 39.5. So calculate the difference between those two things. And then you're obviously going to divide that. The percentage increase, so you're saying the difference divided by 21.6 times 100. Percentage increase. So it'll be 17.9 divided by 21.6 times 100. And that's going to give us 82.87, which is rounded off to 83%. So there's an 83% increase in a woman's progesterone levels between week 4 and week 14. Okay. The woman's progesterone level in week 16 was 25 nanograms per mil. Explain why this woman should be concerned about the decrease in progesterone levels. If there's a decrease in progesterone levels, what is now going to happen to this woman's pregnancy? Any answers?
She will have a miscarriage.
Okay, why? Explain.
I think her endometrium will not be able to maintain the pregnancy.
Yes, very good. The endometrium will not be maintained. Okay, so the endometrium will not be maintained, and that will cause the pregnancy not to be able to be sustained.
Mano said that there will be a higher follicle stimulating hormone secretion.
That is also true. Okay, so, but we're just talking about why the woman should be concerned. So remember, you must answer the question. Why should this woman be concerned about the decrease in progesterone level? Remember, they didn't measure FSH here, they're measuring progesterone. So what is the direct role of progesterone? Progesterone maintains pregnancy. So if there's a decrease in that hormones levels, that means the endometrium or the uterine lining and the placenta, everything that houses the embryo will not be maintained. And if it's not maintained, you're going to have menstruation. It means that you're going to start to have a period. Okay, and so the placenta will obviously detach, and that is how she will have a miscarriage. Okay, so it's very serious if progesterone levels decrease. Okay, so suggest one way in which this problem could be treated by a doctor. Anybody? The doctor can
Don
always
says progesterone supplements.
Yes. Okay, so the doctor can prescribe her progesterone supplements to maintain high levels of progesterone and therefore maintain the pregnancy. Okay.
Whose mic is on?
I don't know how to undo. Okay, so the diagram below, can't see that.
The diagram below represents an endocrine gland A and the events that take place in the ovary during the menstrual cycle in humans.
Okay.
Question 1. Yeah.
Okay, so question 5.1.1, no, 5.1. 1.5.1, sorry. Identify the gland A and what, so this is showing you the ovarian cycle. Okay, so what secretes the hormones that influence the ovarian cycle? The pituitary gland. Okay. Structure B, what is structure B? Okay, that is, now you can see it is your mature follicle. Okay, because the next step is release of that ovum. Okay, so the mature follicle is called a Graafian follicle. Okay, this process, okay, is called ovulation. And structure D is now a degenerating Graafian follicle, so that is called the corpus luteum. Okay, state the effect on the estrogen levels in the blood if gland A stops secreting follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so if the pituitary gland stops secreting follicle stimulating hormone, what's going to happen? Estrogen is going to decrease. Okay, estrogen will decrease, and obviously you will not have thickening of the endometrium. Okay. State 1 function of luteinizing hormone, okay, in this ovarian cycle. What does luteinizing hormone do? It acts on the Graafian follicle. What does it do?
So Emily says plays an important role in sexual development and functioning.
No, okay, so Emily, you got to be specific. So it's given you a diagram. You must use the information that they've given. Don't give it like a general answer. Okay, so state 1 function of luteinizing hormone in the ovarian cycle.
It can control the release of the egg from the follicle during ovulation.
Okay, yes, you're on the right track, but when to explain that, you must say that luteinizing hormone acts on the Graafian follicle. Okay, and what does it do to the Graafian follicle? It causes it to swell and burst, and that is what releases that ovum into the fallopian tube. Okay, did you have that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the luteinizing hormone stimulates ovulation by acting on the Graafian follicle, and that ovulation then stimulates the development of the corpus luteum. Okay. Okay, the top of my screen is just blocked here.
So I can see the picture and 3.1.1. Is there anything above that?
No.
Okay. So here you have the male reproductive system with labels A, B, and C, and with one label
no explanation.
difference.
Oh, okay. So it's probably just asking you to label A, B, and C.
Yes.
So A is the testes, and B would be your epididymis, and C is the scrotum. Okay.
3.1.2 is missing.
Okay, it's probably going to come up now. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this to me. Okay, describe the process of spermatogenesis in part A. Okay, and this is for 4 marks. Okay, so you definitely have to include the hormone that's acting here, and that is testosterone. Okay, so you would say that under the influence of testosterone, the diploid cells that is produced from the germinal epithelium in the seminiferous tubules of the testes undergo meiosis to form haploid sperm. Okay, so that is the process of spermatogenesis. So you must be able to explain that and know what the seminiferous tubules do. What do the Leydig cells do? They secrete testosterone. Sertoli cells and other types of cells in the seminiferous tubules. Okay, that's just an aside. Okay, so under the influence of testosterone, diploid cells or the germinal epithelium in the seminiferous tubules of the testes undergo meiosis and form sperm. Okay. Test results show that a man has a low sperm count. Explain why a doctor would advise the man to wear underwear that is not tight. Okay, why would you not wear underwear that is tight if you have a low
Okay, so
sperm count?
Emily, you said it'll be too much of heat, which can lower the sperm count.
Correct. Okay, so if the testes is smashed against the body by the tight underwear, the temperature of the testes is going to be high, so it's going to decrease sperm count. Okay, any other explanations?
No. Sianda also said high temperature.
It may.
That is correct. Okay, so you can state it in either, you can either state it in terms of a high temperature or a low temperature. Okay, so the testes will be away from the body if the person does not wear tight underwear. So the temperature of the testes will therefore be lower than the temperature of the body, and it puts less pressure on the testes. Okay, so that will give successful sperm production. Or as we said, you can talk about it in terms of tight underwear. It will be close to the body, high temperature, and that puts pressure on the testes, and the sperm will not mature. So that means the sperm will be negatively affected. Okay. Now, during a vasectomy, the vas difference from both testes is cut. Explain one reason why a man who A does not want to have children will choose to have a vasectomy. Okay, so the vas difference will be cut. Why would he choose to have a vasectomy if he does not want children? Remember, what is the function of the vas difference? The vas difference transports your sperm to the urethra. Okay, it propels the sperm to the urethra via peristalsis. Okay, so if that is cut, there will be no sperm to be propelled. Okay, so therefore no fertilization will take place. Okay, so explain one reason why a man who has had a vasectomy is still capable of ejaculation. Okay, so the fluid part of the semen will still be produced because it's made by the accessory glands, okay, and the seminal vesicles and the prostate gland. Okay, even the Cowper's gland also plays a role in adding to the semen. Okay, so all those structures, all those glands and structures are producing the fluid part of the semen. So there will still be fluid to be ejaculated, but there just won't be any sperm in that. Okay.
Jerusha, Manu has a question based on number 3.1.3. Manu?
Okay. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Like I wanted to ask, like, so if you write based on that question 3.1.3. So if you write the reduce in blood circulation can lead to less sperm count, is it wrong?
No, it is also correct, but but you can't just say that. You need to explain it.
Oh, I need to explain in details.
Yes, you should always, but loss of circulation, yeah, it does affect sperm count, but we're not really looking for that answer exactly.
Oh,
because
okay, man, that was my question.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think. It would be acceptable. It would be acceptable because it's talking about pressure, putting pressure on the testes. So
you may get part marks for that answer. It will depend on how much leeway the marker will give you. Yeah, but not the full mark.
Yeah, but this is the model answer that I put up there for you.
Okay, thank you so much, man.
All right. Okay, next. Okay. Oh, is some stuff off the screen here. Okay, so I can. Okay, so an ectopic pregnancy is a problem in which the embryo attaches outside the uterus. In most cases, the embryo implants in the fallopian tubes, but implantation can also occur in the ovaries, in the cervix, or in the abdominal cavity. An ectopic pregnancy cannot proceed normally. The embryo usually cannot survive. Ectopic pregnancies are caused by one or more of the following: an infection or inflammation of the fallopian tube, the development of scar tissue from a previous infection or surgical procedure in the fallopian tubes, previous surgery in the pelvic area. Okay, in most cases, the fallopian tube where the ectopic pregnancy occurs has to be surgically removed to save the woman's life. Okay, so if you look at the diagram below, you can see that the embryo has implanted in the fallopian tube. Okay, it's not in the womb at C. Okay, so Nimisha, if you can just read the first one for me.
Okay, so question 3.3.1. You give only the letters of the two parts in the diagram where implantation of the embryo may occur during an ectopic pregnancy. So Asanda says A and B. And Fanelo says B, fallopian tube. Don says E. What is E?
Cervix.
No. Cervix is a cervix.
B.
The other answer, Emily, is A and B. Chantal as well.
Okay, so it can actually implant in A, B, or E, okay, which is the ovaries, the cervix, or the abdominal cavity. Or the fallopian, sorry, B is fallopian tube. So A would be near your ovaries, B would be fallopian tubes, and E is your cervix. Okay, explain why women who have had surgery on their fallopian tubes have a greater risk of experiencing an ectopic pregnancy. If you've had surgery, it means that now you're going to have scar tissue from the healing process. Okay, so the scar tissue is going to prevent or cause a blockage of that fallopian tube. So the embryo cannot move along the fallopian tube and implant in the womb. It will just implant, it'll stay too long in the fallopian tube because of the blockage. So therefore it will implant there. Okay, does everybody understand that? Okay, so the scar tissue may partially block the fallopian tube, preventing the embryo from reaching the uterus, which results in implantation in the fallopian tube. Okay. Give 2 reasons why the embryo may not be able to survive during the ectopic pregnancy inside the fallopian tube. So what is the difference between it being in the womb and in the fallopian tube?
So Amanda said it is because the embryo will be stuck at the fallopian tube.
Okay, you are sort of correct. It's going to, remember, the embryo is growing, okay? So it can just get stuck. It can just run out of space, okay? 2 reasons. Think about what the womb has. What physical structure does the womb have that maintains the pregnancy?
John says there's no placenta at the fallopian tubes.
Yes, that's the answer that I'm looking for. There's no placenta, so there's not going to be any. What does the placenta do? What's the function of the placenta?
John says protection and nutrients.
Yes, okay.
It provides nutrients to the embryo.
Yes, very good. So if there's no placenta, the embryo is not going to get any nutrients, so it will not be able to survive there. Okay. Oh, sorry. We missed out a question. Okay, so as somebody said, there'll be insufficient space, okay, because the embryo is growing, okay, and there's no placenta, so there's insufficient nutrients and decreased blood supply. Okay, then there was 3.3.3, explain why women who had their fallopian tube removed after pregnancy occurred may still be able to fall pregnant. Because there are two fallopian tubes, so you can fall pregnant with one fallopian tube or with one ovary, okay, because it's still producing an egg there, and IVF is still possible, so you can have in vitro fertilization where there's an external fertilization of sperm and egg, and then that embryo is then implanted into the womb. Okay. Okay. Sorry, did everybody understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so the next question is, guppy fish have very interesting methods of breeding. During mating, the male deposits packets of sperm inside the female's reproductive opening using an organ called the gonopodium. This process takes place several times, and the female stores some of the extra sperm. The fertilized eggs remain in the female's body until they hatch and the young are born live. The gestation period is usually between 22 and 28 days. Okay, name the type of fertilization that occurs in the guppies.
Internal fertilization.
Yes, okay, that is correct. Explain two ways in which the type of fertilization increases that you just mentioned increases reproductive success.
It may add to protection.
Because of the fertilization will be taking place inside.
Yes, so name two ways in which the internal fertilization increases reproductive success. So we know it's happening inside, we know that. Now, how does that increase reproductive success?
Yeah, it may provide protection from the fertilized eggs being harmed.
Correct. Okay, so there's protection in the female's body.
Emily said also be protected from predation.
Yes, so it's protected from predation, okay, because the female is housing the eggs in her body. Correct? Anything else? Two ways.
No other answers on the chat.
Okay, so protection from predators. Okay, that's what we said. Housing the fertilized eggs inside the body. Okay, and then
more nutrients.
Another. Yes, that's also correct. The mother can supply the nutrients for a longer period of time because the eggs are inside the body. Okay, it ensures that those eggs are definitely going to be viable because it is housed in a protected environment. Okay, so also there's less chance of desiccation, which means drying out. Okay, if it's housed inside the female's body. And there's increased probability of successful fertilization because remember, the male deposits the sperm inside the female. Okay, so internal fertilization. So there's not sperm floating around in water, waiting to reach an egg somewhere. There's internal fertilization, which ensures that the sperm is deposited in the same environment as the eggs. It's going directly to the eggs to ensure fertilization. Okay. Everybody understands that?
Yes.
Okay, so don't forget, less chance of desiccation, increased probability of successful fertilization. Okay, don't just say protection from predators. Okay, everybody got that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I've got one more question. Let me just stop sharing my screen. It's on a different.
Also, when you say it's safe, provide the reason as to why it is safe, because then you'll get the full marks for that 1 point. You may not get the mark if you just say it's safe being inside.
Yes.
You need to give the reason why it's safe.
Okay, I have, and sorry, let me just. Okay, one more question. I'll just read it to you. Why are guppies regarded as being ovoviviparous?
Okay, Tanda, you had given the answers ovovivipary. Maybe you would like to share your share.
What's the definition of ovovivipary? Okay.
Don says internal
Ovovivipary.
and external fertilization.
Okay, that's not the answer to the question. You must answer the question fully. Okay. So, what is the definition of ovoviviparous?
Fanelo says the eggs are fertilized internally and stay within the mother's body. And
Yes,
Asanda
that's
says
the
the
answer.
embryo develops in an egg inside the mother's uterus.
Yes, this is correct. This is the type of definition that I am looking for. Okay, that is correct. The fertilized eggs remain inside the female. Okay. Okay. Just getting the other. Okay, can you see this?
Let me just, it's, okay, I can see it. Okay, everyone, it's a PDF. So if you can see a web page with the PDF, this is the shared screen.
Can you see that?
Okay, it can be seen now, yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's read it. Premature delivery of babies, which means babies born between weeks 28 to 35 of gestation, has been a concern in many countries. The care of premature babies is very costly. Women with a history of premature delivery are sometimes given a progesterone treatment between weeks 16 to 20 of pregnancy. However, this treatment is believed to lead to the development of gestational diabetes mellitus in the mother. An investigation was done to determine if progesterone treatment leads to the development of gestational diabetes. The procedure was as follows. 300 pregnant women with a history of premature delivery participated in the investigation. Those that had pre-existing diabetes mellitus were excluded. Before we continue, tell me why women with pre-existing diabetes mellitus were excluded. Anyone? If we are trying to determine what leads to gestational diabetes, we obviously can't include women that already have gestational diabetes. We're trying to look for women who develop gestational diabetes in response to progesterone treatment. Okay, so we have to have that as a controlled variable where the participants must not have the condition that we are trying to look for. Okay, they mustn't have it already. Okay, the women were divided into two equal groups, Group A and Group B. Why do they need to be equal groups?
It may be because of the so the groups would be balanced.
No, try again. Why do the groups need to be equal? It's a variable that needs to be controlled. Okay, your two groups must have the same number of subjects. If they are unequal, then that means you're going to have a bias, okay, in the experiment. Okay, the women in Group A were injected once a week with 250 milligrams of progesterone between week 16 and 20. Okay, so the women in Group A were all injected with the same amount of progesterone once a week. Okay, their glucose levels were measured and recorded daily between week 16 and 36 of the pregnancy. And Group B was the control. Okay, so if the Group B was the control, it means that they received a placebo injection. Okay, so they did not get the progesterone. Okay. Okay, so why is the injection of progesterone a good treatment to prevent premature delivery? Okay, so we already spoke about this in a previous question. Remember, the function of progesterone is to maintain pregnancy. Okay, so if we have progesterone, it means that the pregnancy will be maintained and it will prevent premature delivery and also prevent miscarriage. Okay, is everybody okay with that answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Identify the independent variable. What are we controlling? What is the treatment? The treatment is, it says there on the top, an investigation was done to determine if progesterone treatment. So what's the treatment?
Progesterone treatment.
Yes, okay, so progesterone is the treatment. Okay, that is your independent variable. Okay, what is the dependent variable? What is progesterone treatment having an effect on?
The gestational diabetes mellitus.
The development of gestational diabetes. Okay. Okay. Describe how the investigators determined whether any of the participants in Group A had gestational diabetes mellitus. So how did they determine whether these participants in Group A got diabetes? What did they do?
By giving them the injections once a week.
No. How did they measure? So they finished give them the injections, and now how did they determine whether any of the participants had now developed diabetes? So that means they already received the injections. How did the researchers check whether those moms did get gestational diabetes or not? How did they check?
Ma'am, I think like they repeated the process like.
No, they didn't. How did they measure? How did they get the results?
So one.
Measure the number of.
Sorry.
So Don and Centuri says they recorded the glucose level daily between week 16 and 36.
Correct. Okay, so there's it there in point 1, 2, 3, 4. In the fourth bullet point, it says their glucose levels were measured and recorded daily between week 16 and 36 of pregnancy. Okay. So that is how they determined whether any of the participants in group A had developed gestational diabetes after receiving those injections of progesterone. Okay. Okay, state 2 factors that were kept constant when the progesterone was administered in group A. Okay, so we did speak about control variables just now. What 2 variables, what 2 factors were kept constant?
The dose of the injection.
Correct. What else?
The number of women.
Correct. What else? 2 factors that were kept constant when the progesterone was administered. Okay, it's being very specific. It's asking you when the progesterone was being administered. So
Don't set the date or time.
The time of injection, that is correct. Look at bullet point 3. Sorry. Bullet point number 3, you can see there it says the women in group A were injected once a week. So only once a week. That was something that they controlled. Okay, so only once a week was a dose of 250 milligrams injected. Okay, so the dose of the injection and the time of the injection. Okay. Okay, so group B was the control. Explain the importance of group B in this investigation. Now, this is a question that can always come up, and you must know the answer to this because it is something that you should just learn of. What is the importance of the control? Anybody? Why do we have a control? To be able to compare. Okay, we need to compare
results.
Yes, that is correct. To be able to compare group A and group B results. Okay, if we don't have a control, then how do we know that the woman in group A developed gestational diabetes? We can't compare it to anything if we don't have a control. Okay, so the importance of group B is that we need a control to be able to compare results. Okay, does everybody understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Please repeat one more last time, ma'am.
For the last question.
Yes.
Okay, so the importance of the control is to be able to compare the results with the treatment.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so that is the last question. Does anybody have any general questions that they'd like me to answer?
Ma'am, if I may ask, is this session recorded or?
Yes,
yes,
it's being
the
recorded.
session was recorded.
So in the chat box, I just posted the register link and the website link again. So the website link I posted, so you just have to scroll up a bit. I'll just post it again now. You click on the link and the recordings will be there from this session.
before you close the chapter, like I would like to ask some question, like, are you gonna do genetic and inheritance, or you've already done it? Because that topic is a bit challenging for me, so I would like you
Yes.
on genetic and inheritance.
Sure, I'm doing that on Saturday evening. Okay, on Saturday at 6 p.m.
On Saturday, it's 6 p.m.
I'm doing genetics. Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. So Nimisha, if you can just put the dates and times for the next sessions on the chat so the students have it. Okay, so I'll just tell you, it's Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. and I'm doing human impact. I'm doing human responses to the environment and endocrine on Thursday, and then on Saturday morning I'm doing, which is from 9 to 11, I'm doing DNA and meiosis, and on Saturday evening from 6 to 8 I'm doing genetics.
So the morning session on Saturday is 9 to
DNA.
11.
Yes, and I'm doing DNA and meiosis.
So for the session for Saturday, like, so that's your normal time that you start at 9 to 11.
Yes, that's one session, and then Saturday evening is another session.
The same Saturday, and you're covering again one more time for me, Jerusha.
Saturday evening will be genetics.
Oh, yes, genetics.
So for me on Saturday, this one for 9 to 11, apparently I'm gonna miss it because I'll be at school and I knock off around 2 o'clock. So
okay, you can get the recording. You can
It'll be
always
up on the
download
website.
Oh, okay, man.
Yes, but please do attend the other sessions that you are available so that you can ask questions and you can engage with the material. Okay, I saw some questions on the chat. Emily asked, what is the dependent and independent variable? Okay, it's very important for you guys to know this. Okay, the independent variable is the one that you can change, the one that you are manipulating. Okay, so if we take this past example, okay, so what was the treatment? Okay, the treatment in this past example was progesterone, because you are now giving your participants progesterone. That is the treatment. Okay, so the independent variable in this case was progesterone, the treatment of progesterone. Then the dependent variable is now what is being affected by that independent variable. So what is the thing you are measuring now based on the treatment? You are measuring the development of gestational diabetes. So that was dependent on your treatment. Okay, so that is the thing that is being affected. Okay, so it's very important. You must know what is the independent and dependent variable. Okay.
Controlled variable. What is a controlled variable?
A controlled variable is the one that you are making sure does not vary in the experiment. So, for example, you said once a week we are giving the injections, and you're only giving 250 mils, 250 milliliters or something of progesterone. Okay, so those are controlled variables, things that you are making sure are the same between your two groups. So the dose of the injection was the same, and the time of the week was the same. So those are your controlled variables. Okay, I saw a question asking, what am I doing on Thursday? I'm doing human responses to the environment and endocrine and homeostasis. Okay, and are there any other questions? Yes, Chamber.
Will this be uploaded by tomorrow morning after the lesson?
Yes, it should be.
Okay, thank you.
Lindelwa, if you can please make sure that these recordings are uploaded quickly for the students by tomorrow morning. Okay, students, if you can please also make sure that you register yourself. We'd like to take a register of you guys. If you can please click on the link. Dr. Singh will just post that on the chat now. Oh, she's already done so. It's there. It says register, and if you can just quickly fill out that survey, and it automatically registers you that you were here at this session. Okay. You can email the hotline if you have any further questions. It's life science helpline at ukzn.ac.za. Okay, you can go to the website as well, which Dr. Singh has posted there on the chat. And there you will find last year's recordings as well as the links for Thursday and Saturday sessions that we are going to have. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions?
So you said how to register?
How do you register?
So I sent in in the chat box the register link. It's a forms, office forms. You click on the link in the chat box and you just fill your name and your school, which province you're from, and your details there, and we create a database with your details.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, can you see that there? It's on the chat.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, okay, so with regards to degrees available at UKZN, online we do have the prospectus that highlights each degree that's available, but it also depends on which discipline you want to specialize in, whether it's science, commerce. So then we can actually direct you to those, Santuri. Like if it's like biology, Jerusha and I can give you a lot of information about it. But if it's like physical science and stuff, then we would ask the other academics for you to contact. We will provide you with those.
Emily, it just depends on, you asked what average do you require in order to be accepted. You must obviously have a bachelor's degree pass in order to be accepted to UKZN in Matric. So that, and also I think you need to keep all your averages above 50%.
So applications generally start in the second half of the year around your trials, because they generally ask you, the CAO form generally asks you to apply sometimes with your June, or sometimes the faculties prefer your trial results for you to apply with. I know the commerce does sometimes check the June results.
Yes, if you're applying to medicine, it opens in June, okay? But other degrees open a little later. I think by September. In September, it definitely. You can direct your maths question to the maths helpline, okay?
So it's the same as ours, but it's just
instead of life
mathematics.
science. Yeah,
Yes, it'll be maths. As well as for chemistry as well, if you have chemistry questions.
Yes. Yes, Q, you can send it via email to the maths people. Matt's email address.
Let me just copy the whole links for the emails and I'll paste it. Okay. All right, so that's mathematics, physics, or chemistry, and life sciences. So life sciences is for us. Jerusha and myself, we will tend to your questions. Whichever lecturers are doing the catch-ups for physics, chemistry, and mathematics, they will answer your questions for those helpline emails. Any other questions?
Anybody have any other questions for me?
Oh, so something to read. I'll just. Did people already leave?
I'm not too sure. Yes, Chamber?
Ma'am, would we have any more of these closer to like November exams?
Yes, we will. Before trials, before November exams, we will have more sessions. I hope you guys found it helpful. We will do more of these. If you have any suggestions that you want or questions, particular questions you want me to go through, you can also email it to us at Life Sciences, or you can bring it up when we are having a session. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, it'll be better if you email it so then we can like prepare with it. If you want me to do a specific question, or if you want that question answered just for you, you can always email us.
So at the moment, we're focusing on past year papers, but if you have a specific question that you would want us to work out with you in a session, so you can email that to us at the life science email and we'll prepare that one. Also, the recordings that are on the website for 2021, those are our November recordings. So we were preparing the grade 12 students for finals last year.
Yeah, but we do plan on doing trials as well, so this year.
Okay, so for those of you who complete the register, a mailing list will be created there, and we will request Lindelwa to post reminders of the upcoming sessions on Thursday and Saturday.
Okay. If there's no more questions, thank you so much, guys, for attending. And we hope that you benefited from the session and learned a lot. Emily, unfortunately, we don't have any maths lit sessions. It's just pure mathematics that will be done. Okay. Tando, you can just click on the link to register. If you just scroll up in the chat, you'll see register, and there's a link there for you to click to register. Okay,
also, because Thursday we're focusing on human responses, if there's any specific section you want us to explain a bit more in detail, you can email that to us as well.
Okay, thank you very much, students. Have a good evening and all the best for your paper. I will see you on Thursday. Nick, see you on Thursday, not Saturday. Thursday and Saturday. Time. Yes.
Okay, so everyone, we'll see you on Thursday.
Okay, see you Thursday, everybody. Thank you. Goodbye.